Hi, I'm Carl Taylor.
And hi, I'm Urs Recho.
And welcome to another broncolor how-to video. Now, Urs, it looks like you've dug your Pink Floyd record collection out here.
No, not the Pink Floyd. They are safely at home. For this, I took something else.
Right. So, looks like a product shot of some headphones, and stylizing it, building a set with some vinyl discs in there. Talk us through your setup here, please.
Okay, so the main light, we probably have to start from the back. The main light is a Zeros S800 with a L40 reflector and the narrow grids.
So narrow grid, and it's coming through some diffusion material.
Exactly, it's just an acrylic plate, matte side down.
Yep.
And I placed this in a way that we get a nice halo around
around the product, around the headphones.
Around the product,
right.
Exactly, yeah.
So that halo will be emanating sort of off of the vinyl.
Yes,
reflecting
exactly.
on the vinyl.
As well, it gives nice edges, so it shows the shape of the texture of the LPs. And as well, it's the main light as well for the headphones itself.
Okay, but there are two more lights plus a few extra little accessories.
Exactly. The light shapers are actually quite basic, so it's as well in a way to show that you do not always need super fancy light shapes to make a high-end product shot.
Okay.
So it's just normal reflectors, grids, and a small softbox.
Yeah, so none of the fancy Pico projection attachments.
Not for this time, no.
Nope.
Not for this time. This will come back later on.
But let's break this shot down one light at a time.
Sounds good.
Starting with maybe your backlight.
Exactly. So
and then we can see what each one's doing. We're also, just point out, we're shooting on the medium format with the Hasselblad 120mm macro lens, which is equivalent to about a 100mm macro lens in 35mm format, so perfectly achievable on 35mm equipment as well. Okay.
Good. So these are switched off, so it's only the one I've been talking about before. Normal reflector with narrow grids.
Okay,
and
excellent.
It's of course very dark, but you can already see that I get nice texture, you know, all the atmosphere is there, and the black object is surrounded by this halo.
Exactly, black on black's always tricky, so this is bringing that beautifully. I really love the texture in the vinyl here, seeing the grooves and the tracks and the reflections.
Exactly.
And that's all just from the one backlight coming through the diffusion material.
Exactly, yeah. The further away I go, the bigger this light circle becomes, so the bigger the reflection. So
that's light number one.
Yep.
Let's look at light number two, but without light number one, please.
I can switch this one on already. And we switch this off.
Okay.
So the second one is a softbox coming from the side. It's a smaller softbox. Of course, it's always about adjusting more or less the size of the light shape to the size of the object. So if I have a tiny object, of course, I take the smallest softbox. And if I fire this, you will see that this actually brings more like the main light from
Okay, so this is light number two, but on its own without light number one.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting here for me is this beautiful gradation that you've achieved down here.
We are using just standard equipment, but let's say with just this little black cardboard that I placed quite close to the object, I can flag off some of the light. So let's say if I take this away,
flag.
If I shoot it now, you will see that the light, it's much more boring, it's just flattening.
Yes, absolutely, that's amazing. So that tiny little velvet flag, black velvet flag, is just shielding, creating a shadow across the bottom half of that face on the headphones.
And when I get closer, this shadow is sharper. When I take it further away, this shadow slowly disappears again. So the position of this little black thing is crucial as well for the quality of the light. So adjusting this, now it will go further down.
Great.
So that's probably...
And this shows you just how creative you can be by using little homemade accessories.
They are super essential, as you know. Mirrors, little cardboards, and
flags, everything. Yeah, it's fantastic. Right, now talking of mirrors, you've also got a couple of mirrors in there. Are those mirrors operating from this light, or are they operating from another light?
No, they're actually operating from this one.
Okay.
And the first one here in the back is responsible for the reflections I get on the vinyl, on the acrylic back.
In the top right-hand corner there.
Exactly, it was too bright when because this is more or less like the main light, so the reflection was too bright, so that's why there is even a grey filter.
So got an ND gel.
It's an ND3 gel, also, so it takes off one f-stop.
Let's take a shot without the gel, just to show the viewers the difference.
So it will be too dominant
there we go,
But when I put it in front of it, it's like a 2 f-stop reduction of the light.
Okay.
And because it should not be the main focus, now it's very weak.
Okay, so the mirror at the front, what is that one doing?
We have in here, it's a lot of black, you know. This is just a fill-in light for this dark area.
So on the photo, that's...
yeah, it's actually in here, otherwise it would be too dark and fading away completely.
Well, let me block the mirror a minute with this black card, and let's just see the difference on what you've got so far. Yeah. Okay.
So
oh, wow.
It's a complete...
Yeah, absolutely dead down there. So that's all from the mirror.
Exactly, and if the mirror is on again...
Yeah. And these are just little convex makeup mirrors.
Exactly.
Right. Now, that's light number 2. Let's turn that off. Take a look at light number 3, please. I'll turn light number 3 on.
Yes. So this is just, just a normal reflector coming from the left at, I think about 3 f-stops below the 2 main lights, and just gives some nice accents on the left. Really some highlights.
Lifting that up there.
And then actually these highlights, they fade away, and then the mirror takes over.
Right, okay. So let's now go into all 3 lights combined, and we can take a look at, I guess, close to the final shot, maybe just a few little tweaks needed.
Yep.
And
good.
Let's see what we get.
Still moving, yep.
Wow, there we go.
Okay, yep.
So that's the combination of all 3 lights. Yep. All those little details being revealed beautifully there, lovely little gradients, textures, and as you said, a difficult subject, black on black, but you're isolating it and lifting it with light in the specific areas.
What's actually quite interesting, you know, if I go up with this softbox just a little bit, just a few centimeters up, you will see that the texture here will have a huge, much more power. You see how this changes, you know?
Yep. So which one do you prefer, that one or the one before? I think the one before.
I think it's too distracting already.
Yeah.
I would just, it's really about 2 centimeters. I just take it down 2 centimeters, shoot it again, and immediately I have an f-stop less here. Yeah. So it's super precise.
Excellent.
You can work.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a wonderful result there with a 3-light setup, and it demonstrates really clearly how you can actually accomplish a very high-end product shot, but with very basic, minimal equipment.
You just have to know what you do with it. Right.
Well, hope you enjoyed that how-to video. Another great example from Urs on product photography. I'm Carl Taylor.
And I'm Urs Reicher. Thank you very much for watching.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.